Hey YouTube! So you may have noticed that there haven't been any videos in a long time, and instead of just trying to pretend that that didn't happen or come at you with a bunch of excuses, I want to let you know I'm definitely aware of how long it's been and realized that a bunch of things that I was struggling with and a number of realizations that helped me with those things may be helpful to other creative people as well. So I figured that I would get dressed up and have a little bit of a chat with you about that. I apologize if there's any strange noises or birds yelling. I can't really tell the birds to be quiet. Oh, there's a flicker right up there. Oh my gosh. uh, it heard me talking about it. Anyways, I'm getting off topic already. But it was such a nice day, I figured I had to film outside, and I was feeling very fey, obviously, and this is my favorite plant in the yard because it has a portal to the fey realm in it, and it changes so nicely seasonally, and I'm off topic again. Anyhow, speaking of how I also may have to straighten you out sometimes because I'm currently using my fabric steamer as a tripod, which actually does tie in to what I want to talk about. That's not really a tangent. I find that a lot of times when I embark on creative projects, I have, I'm going to do this in a series, or I have this idea that I've said that I'm going to do, and then I get really stuck on that. That's the only thing that I'm allowed to do. Even if my brain is sliding sideways off it, I'll waste so much time trying to make that one thing happen. Whereas I know that if I go do something else, that my brain is like, I've got this idea, let's go do that idea. Then I'll have done something, and then I'll have freed up that little hamster wheel in my brain to go do the thing that I feel that I'm supposed to be doing. And then I'll have made a thing either way. It's much better than nothing. But I think that a lot of us know that. And I think it's important to just stop getting stuck on that. Like, everybody works differently. Obviously, there are sometimes deadlines and projects that you have to do, and that those aren't options. You can't necessarily just be like, oh, I don't feel like doing that today, I'm going to go do something else. I don't think that that's realistic or feasible either, but I think when you can, like, we're creative people first and business people second. And I think that sometimes the schedules and this guilt about what we're supposed to be doing, like, you must, if you start a series, you must do it regularly. If you announce something, that has to be the next thing that you do. And this kind of external and internal guilt trip about how your creativity works starts happening, and then you end up just doing nothing. It's much better to do something, even if it's the wrong thing, than to just sit there trying your hardest to get this one thing done and it's not working. I like to sort of equate it to, you know, when there's a bee stuck in your house and there's your door, which is open, is right here, and there's a window that is closed, and the bee is going donk, 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 donk against the window, and it can see through the window. It thinks this is an exit. It thinks that it's doing the right thing. This is what it's supposed to be doing. Whereas if you just turn it slightly, here is actually a much better place for it to be going. And I think that as creatives, we sometimes are the bumblebee stuck in the house donking against the window. And it's important to allow yourself to unstick and do something else. It's like all the same advice about writer's block and stuff. It's all stuff that we know, but it's hard to follow that advice when you're guilt tripping yourself. And so that's just the little chat that I wanted to have with you, and let you know it's okay. As a creative, if you're creating, that's good. It's always better than beating yourself up and like trying to squish your creativity into a box and say not now, because that's not how it works. And to an extent, I do understand that sometimes you do need to put yourself on a schedule, and some people thrive on schedules. That's great. That's not me. I'm happy for you. And like, not in a mean way. That probably sounded very, very grumpy, but we all work differently. It's good to be aware of what limits you do need to put on yourself sometimes, but I think it is also extremely important to give yourself that permission to go off on a creative tangent. Some of the best things I've ever made in my life have been spur of the moment. I just felt like doing this and I tried it, and it's great, and it's a major part of my business now. Whereas if I think like this is the one thing that I'm supposed to be doing, then I lose that creativity, I lose the enthusiasm, and people can tell too. If you're not excited about what you're doing, that translates to your work. So making yourself miserable, trying to follow a schedule that you're putting on your own self, is a lot of the time a little bit counterproductive. And I think I'm getting into the kind of territory where I'm repeating myself a whole lot. So I just want to say I'm back. I'm very sorry for the break. I was the little bumblebee stuck in the... Oh, I said that my steamer had something to do with this. I'm not out of things to talk about. Another thing is I can't, like, convincing yourself that you have to be at a certain standard before you can do anything, as opposed to making things and getting better as you go. The ones that I get caught up in are, I know that this aspect of my production isn't that great, so I can't do anything until I fix that. Which sometimes is true, but other times you can stick your phone on your clothing steamer and call it a tripod. And another one that I get really caught up in that's a little bit more difficult is how I look, and I don't want people on the internet looking at me until I look a certain way. And that's a really hard one. I don't really have a whole lot of advice about that one, except for today. I was feeling good, and then I was like, the sun's gonna start going down soon, I'm gonna lose the light, maybe I don't have time, maybe I shouldn't, and then I was like, nope, I'm in the headspace to do this right now. I'm gonna stick some butterflies on my head and go talk to my phone in the backyard, because if I don't do it now, who knows when I'm gonna be in the headspace to do it again. So really, I think what I've been trying to ramble my way around to is seizing the ability to do something when it comes around. A lot of us are neurodivergent, a lot of us have physical disabilities, a lot of us are really, really busy with a whole bunch of other things. So waiting for everything to be perfectly right, and to have all the equipment, and to be in the best headspace, and you also have to do this one thing before you're allowed to do anything else, really limits the amount of time where we can actually harness our creative energy and really do our best work. So yeah, if you're in the mood to do something, you should, unless it's going to cause like major problems, to pivot and work on whatever you're feeling inspired by. Work when you feel that it works for you, and do what you feel works for you, and try not to guilt trip yourself too much about what you're doing or what you're not doing, or I have to look a certain way or have this exact equipment or whatever before I'm allowed to create stuff. Making something is always better than not making something, and the birds agree. Anyways, thank you so much to everybody who's been very patient with me, and everybody who's been very encouraging of me, and my very, very generous patrons over on Patreon. You can find information for that down in the description. Specifically, thank you to Kevin Zakel, Jesse Fan, Josh Bennett, Bex Owenhand, Jeffrey Almond, and Joe Polo. You guys are the best. Thank you so much. People forget which tier background videos are available to, but above a certain tier you will be able to watch me dither around and put this look together, as kind of a behind the scenes rambling about how I create a colorful look like this. Otherwise, you can follow me on all the things. All that information is down in the description. this is the very uninteresting end part of the video. Anyways, good luck creating. If you feel like you're the bumblebee against the window, maybe try following, like, if part of your brain is pulling you in one direction, it's okay to listen to it. You can, that's a thing you could do, which seems, all of this seems very obvious, saying it out loud. But when it's all just sort of running around in your brain, it can be a little bit difficult to get past. And I just want to let you know, it's okay. And being a creative is hard, and you're not alone, and I believe in you. Bye-bye.